Hey guys, welcome in to Mountaineer Mountaineer Mania. This is the very first episode, at least in this format, first time going live on Twitch. So if you are catching me live on Twitch, you might know me as Big Murph. I know I got some friends that might pop in from the CFSL. That's pretty much where all my Twitch followers come from. Everybody else, you've seen my TikTok, which is actually mostly or all music right now. Probably change some of that up a little bit. Or you catch me on YouTube. You guys would know me as Mountaineer Murph. This is just a little podcast I want to throw together and talk a little bit about West Virginia sports. Obviously, we're going to spend a lot of time, especially when football season rolls back around, talking about the big money sport. Football brings all this, the money into the program, into the school. So it's going to get a lot of attention. But basketball season starting to come to a close. You got conference tournament coming up soon. You're going to have the March Madness tournament coming up here in around a month. So big time for college basketball. But I'm also a big college baseball fan. I can't wait for West Virginia baseball to get back onto the field. Had a great season last season. Made it all the way to a super regional before getting knocked out by the eventual champion LSU Tigers. So I'm very much looking forward to baseball season starting up and following those guys. Um, but a lot of talk. I follow some guys on YouTube and some other, Big 12 Locked In. I listen to those guys a lot. And a lot of talk right now about recruiting, guys coming in and out of the program. Um, so I wanted to kind of throw my 2 cents in, talk to you a little bit about that. Uh, Listen, I heard somebody say just the other day, um, Rodriguez first season this time around went a lot like his first season last time around, and it absolutely did. Right, first time around, I think he wound up with what 2 wins, 3 wins. Did not have a great year. Very next season, turns things around. He goes 8-3, 8-4 during the regular season, beats Pitt uh, in a game that really determined second place in the then Big East Conference. Miami would go on to play for the national title. We kind of got snubbed from New Year's Day game back in 2002. After Notre Dame took the New Year's Day Gator Bowl away from us, we wound up in the Continental Tire Bowl. Got just waxed by Virginia, but that's kind of beside the point. So last season 2025 rolls around, first season back in, 4 wins, doesn't look great. Offense was atrocious. In the 105, 110 range in total offense and points per game. We just looked bad offensively. Defensively, we're up and down. I had some games where we looked really good, and had some games where we looked terrible. Well, the comment I heard the other day was, if we could take anything from this, you know, uh, year two of RichRod coming in this time around, it's it should be easier, right? He did it last time. He did it without the transfer portal, but now the transfer portal coming into play, he should be able to rebuild faster than what he built the program the first time around. I'm still kind of on the fence about all that, right? Yeah, in a way, maybe it's a little bit easier. You got guys coming in and out of the program, but that's the problem. A guy doesn't stick around. A new coach comes in, um, sticks around for a year maybe, and he bolts like Jaheen White. We saw that last year. He stuck around after a lot of talk about him leaving before Rodriguez got there. He stays. He doesn't perform real well. He gets hurt. So not all of it on him. He does get hurt and winds up leaving and signed, I believe, at North Texas. We'll look at that here in a minute. But you get that going on. But on the flip side of that, yeah, you're bringing a lot of guys in and new guys in, and you see some programs have success with that. Coach Prime at Colorado, his first season at Colorado, was able to basically bring in a whole new football team, and they performed well. I don't know that that's the norm. I think that's the exception to the rule a little bit because you always talk about, when a program lines up with a new coach, the guys that do stick around, now they're learning a new system, and are they going to be able to pick that up and perform? And sometimes it takes 1 or 2 seasons, 3 seasons before you see that program really take off. So what's the difference? The coaches staying, and now you've got 30, 40, 50 new players coming in, 80 new players coming in. I believe last season WVU had 82 players on the roster that were not on the roster the season before, and obviously not all of them freshmen. So you've got that dynamic every season. We'll take a look here. West Virginia bringing or losing. Here's a look. This is just at a 247 Sports. Um, so just taking a look here. 50 outgoing transfers, right? You got 50 guys leaving the program. Justin Smith Brown, right now he's still undecided. You got guys like Christian Hamilton, a wide receiver. He left and he's going to Marshall. He was a 3-star recruit. You got a Chris Filippo, he's gone. He goes to Penn State. He's already enrolled at Penn State, so he got out of there in a hurry. Ben Bogle, he's going to an SEC school in Arkansas. Curtis Jones Jr., he's heading to Virginia Tech. And you just see guy after guy leaving the program, and there's some big names on this list as well. Nico Markule, he was a starter at the beginning of the season. He's leaving, and he was a major recruit for West Virginia when he came in. Jalen Henderson, another quarterback, he just transferred in. Now he's leaving. All right, he's already gone. He's committed to Liberty. He'll be playing for the Flames and probably going to be a day one starter down there at Liberty. And he transferred in with a lot of big time expectations. You keep going down the list. Rodney Gallagher the third. He was a big playmaker at wide receiver. How do you replace guys like this? Uh, you lose Donovan Haslam, an inside offensive lineman. We struggled with the front five last season offensively. Then you get all these interior linemen transferring out. He's heading to an SEC program. He's going to Tennessee. So you got guys that can play ball. They're winding up in ACC programs, SEC programs. You got Cam Bond, big time, another one of those big time recruits at receiver. Maybe our biggest playmaker offensively. He's gone. He's going to Miami. So again, just guy after guy, 50 of them as of right now. I believe this was republished about 10 days ago. I believe I saw the second. So you hear Khalil Wilkins, another guy who, when he was recruited, we thought would be that next playmaker at quarterback for us. He's going to go to Marshall. So he's staying in the state of West Virginia, but he's leaving for Marshall. You got another interior offensive lineman heading to Marshall. Uh, Dior Hubbard, a running back, along with Jaheim White, both of them gone. Dior Hubbard heading to Wyoming. Uh, you're losing just player after player. Here's Jaheim White, as we mentioned. Uh, he was our most explosive runner out of the backfield. Maybe minus Scotty Fox Jr. when he became the starting quarterback. But Jaheim White heading to North Texas, and again, here you see just guy after guy after guy. Devontae Nelson, a cornerback, around Singleton Jr., another wide receiver. So we've got players that are just uh, heading out. Mass exodus. 50 guys as of about 10 days ago. And that's huge. That's big for this program. We do not have, at least not right now, the capability of losing 50 guys and then just okay, we're gonna reload. We're gonna get better. You know, addition through subtraction kind of thing. It doesn't work at West Virginia, at least not in my opinion. Not right now. Maybe later. And why are these guys leaving? Is it playing time? Is it coaches? I don't know. You got Rodriguez coming in, and with Rodriguez, he comes in with that old school mentality, that hard edge mentality. There's rumors that Jaheim White did not like the coaching style, that he felt like he was run out of Morgantown. I don't know how true that is. I obviously do not have inside access to any of that kind of thing. Is it true? Maybe. I don't know about the running them out part, but did he not like the coaching style? Did a lot of these guys not like that coaching style? That it could be. You know, Rodriguez has been coaching for a long time. The first time he came to Morgantown, boy, I tell you what, he had that same hard edge mentality. Hold the rope, fly around, put a little more air in your helmet, put a little more tape on, tighten up those shoelaces a little bit more, and go strapping on. You're gonna go out there for 4 quarters and play West Virginia physical football. And that's what they wanted to do back in the early 2000s when we were successful. That's what Rodriguez wants to do now. Hard edge. He wanted to go out there and just absolutely run through people, run over people. And we did not have the dogs up front, especially to get that done. You saw it a little bit in some of those games that we started to win towards the end of the season. Then you get in those games against guys like Texas Tech, where we had some momentum built up, and even though we had dropped a game to Arizona State late the week before, you thought maybe we had some momentum built up, and then you get a good ball club come in and they blow your doors off. And again, we were one of the worst offenses in the country, and that is not Rodriguez's mo. He is a guy that puts points on the board when he gets his guys in there, and hopefully he starts getting these guys in there very, very soon. Now we can take a look at some of the guys that are coming in and, kind of re-energizing hopefully this offense or this club because we got some transfers coming in as well through the portal. 34 incoming transfers through the portal. You're going to get some guys from some big name schools. So we're losing guys to SEC schools, to Big Ten schools, ACC, but we're also bringing them in from those programs. Now again, why are these guys leaving? Are they not getting their shot? Are they looking for an opportunity to come in here for maybe one season, make a name for themselves, and then find their way back to programs like LSU and Oregon and those kind of schools that maybe they're leaving from now, but maybe they think they can get an upgrade through coming, by coming through Morgantown and making kind of a name for themselves. Here's just a few of them. We're not going to go over all of them. Again, this is 247 Sports. You guys can can go check that out if you want, or a quick Google search, you can find all this information. We've got some big name guys that have come in recently. We were able to sign a freshman out of the state of West Virginia, the top recruit out of West Virginia, running back, I believe it was. Um, so trying to again get some of those kids that are closer to home. Maybe that has some staying power, 4 seasons at your home state school, a chance to go win a Big 12 conference title, play in the playoffs, if everything kind of comes together. Obviously, 2007 is the last time we really had that major opportunity here in Morgantown, and obviously trying to get that back. But you got some guys coming in, Bradford, Haystrup, Teron Francis. These are all guys. Those guys are coming from LSU and Oregon. Uh, you know, edge guy here, Durham Campbell from Liberty, another cornerback, which is good. We need some of these guys to come in out of some of these programs at um, from these bigger schools. And again, why are they leaving? I don't know. Is it coaching style? Did they just not get their opportunity to play? Are they hoping to parlay a season or two at WVU into a bigger opportunity for their junior, senior seasons? Maybe, and that's the risk you play when you play the transfer portal game, right? That's the risk you take. Um, but again, I don't know if those guys are going to stick around. If they do, great. If they help us win, great. Again, you see some of these, most of them 3 stars. But again, you look at this, and we did, Michael Hawkins Jr. at Oklahoma. He's coming in. He's going to challenge Scotty Fox Jr. for that starting job probably right off the bat, right? So, and he may be one of the bigger names that we bring in. But again, you get some of these interior offensive linemen. uh, Cam Cook, running back out of Jacksonville State. Um, and I don't know much about Cam Cook. Yeah, was he there when Rodriguez was there? a season, a couple seasons ago. I don't know for sure. Trying to look here to see what class he is. But again, you get a guy that comes in, maybe he knows a little bit um, about Rodriguez and his style and his offense. When he was recruited, it's a he was a 4-star recruit out of Texas. Um, again, maybe he's someone that came in, he played for Rodriguez um, at Jack State for a season before RichRod came back home, and maybe that helped build that relationship and build that trust. And we'll see. Maybe he can come in, help some of these guys on that offense learn the system. And again, that's where the catch-22 kind of becomes. You got guys coming in, they're trying to learn new systems year in and year out. So you think that the transfer portal is one of those opportunities to come in and make a big name. And again, you see some of these guys, and not a lot of splash names here, and hopefully enough that guys like DJ Epps coming out of Troy, Prince Straken, probably butchered that name, and I apologize. Um, but Prince coming out of USC, so hopefully some of these guys can get acclimated into the system. They can become threats for this offense downfield, and you know, here's hoping because that's kind of what we need. That's sort of what we were missing, um, a season ago in Morgantown with this offense. Um, again, at what point can we uh, get that offense really going? Because it just wasn't there. You had Scotty Fox Jr. that came in. Um, what 6 games into the season, 7 games into the season before he became um, um, the Mountaineer starter. Uh, so again, the last time Rodriguez did something like that, though, it was a guy named Pat White. He didn't start the season at West Virginia. He became maybe the best quarterback we've had since Major Harris, and we've had some pretty decent quarterbacks between Major Harris and Pat White. Had had Jake Kelchner, Darren Studstill, the names that a lot of people don't remember unless you are a major Mountaineer fan. You had Rasheed Marshall right before Pat White, who was a very underrated quarterback in Mountaineer history. I went back and I watched the 2007, or excuse me, not 2007. That was terrible. I was there. The 2002 game against Pitt. Rasheed Marshall was the quarterback. You had Avon Coburn, the running back. Quincy Wilson was about to take over for him. He was the heir apparent. So we had a very good team back then. It was building, and that was one of those things uh, that you get those quarterbacks in there you can really build on. So is Scotty Fox Jr. I won't say the next Patrick White because he won't be the next Pat White. He won't be that explosive. Uh, he won't be that guy. At least I don't think so. But he's that type of guy. He could potentially keep this offense rolling as far as running the football, being that quarterback run guy that can make things happen. He could be that next guy. We saw the arm. He made some freshman mistakes, but he has a good arm. But he needs those explosive guys around him to make these plays. Does he get there? Does he get it done? Only time's going to tell that. Is he going to get enough help? I don't know. So we're going to transition just a little bit into basketball, but before I do, as I bumped my camera, I apologize. Before I do, I want to talk a little bit about, something that I've gotten myself involved in. I mentioned a little bit in my anybody jumping on the live stream on Twitch, but it doesn't look like. Hopefully, at some point, this is just episode 1. Um, but something that kind of got me involved and has really found my way, helped me find a way through a tough time here in my personal life. Uh, it's a league called the Collegiate Football Simulation League. It's just a sim football league CFSL. You can find us at collegesimleague.com. Click on the Get Started button. It'll take you to the Discord. All it is a um, it's a sim league, and you get into the Discord community, you build a player. Um, you can get recruited by 24 programs. I actually run West Virginia, which is part of why I'm mentioning it on here. I'm the athletic director slash head coach of this program, and you get to be involved in a great community and a bunch of great people, guys and girls, men and women. Uh, so if you're looking for something to just kind of get yourself away from real life for a while, to enjoy, to be competitive. If you ever were a college athlete or ever wish you had been a college athlete, this is a great way to kind of do that. Go have some fun. Um, and again, you get a chance to talk to and even meet some really awesome individuals. And so, again, collegesimleague.com. Click on Get Started. It'll take you to Discord. We're about halfway through the season right now. Through the 25th season of the league, it'll start back up. It's just kind of a continuous thing. You get a little time off between seasons, and you get right back into it. Those are streamed on Twitch, on their page, on YouTube, on their YouTube page as well. And again, it's just a wonderful community. So before we close, I mentioned a little bit about college basketball. I'm not going to get heavy into it. I'm gonna be honest. I started kind of following early in the year. Um, I've had a lot of things going on, so I've been tracking, kind of keeping track of how well we've been doing. And I know that West Virginia's been up and down. Second coach in 2 seasons makes this an extremely tough season for our Mountaineers on the hardwood, but they haven't played terrible, right? They're having a decent season. 15-9 overall. I'm going to put up the standings. This is just from Big12Sports.com. Uh, you see West Virginia there, right in the middle of the standings, 6-5 on the season in the conference. 15-9 overall. Fantastic home record, right? We're 13-12 at home, playing a lot of games in the Coliseum. A lot of those early season non-power conference teams. Obviously, you get a chance to really pad your record. The one that concerns me is, we are 0-4 in neutral site games. So as we head into March, as the regular season starts to wind down, you get into that conference play, you get into March Madness or the NIT, because I don't know, at 15-9, you're certainly maybe a bubble team at best right now with some games left to play and some big games left to play. You still have some road games against Kansas State, uh, although they're struggling. You still got BYU on your schedule once or twice. So they're up there above you right now, but an opportunity to win some more games. I think you got to find a way to get close to that 20-win mark to really have a legitimate shot in the NCAA tournament. But 0-4 neutral site games, and those are usually tournament style games, in the early regular season, and that means we're not getting the job done much away from Morgantown. In fact, we only played five road games, 4 neutral site games. So 9 ball games away from the Coliseum in Morgantown. We are 2-7 combined in those games. So we're not winning away from home, which is very concerning as you get into tournament play. Um, I don't know heading down to the uh, to the conference tournament, how that looks for us. We're going to be in the middle of the pack, so we're not going to have a great draw. So that's a little concerning. If you go one and done in the Big 12 tournament, it is potentially a season ender. Maybe you get an NIT berth, which I don't know that, if you would have told me that at the beginning of the season, hey, you guys are going to be middle of the pack in the Big 12 this season, you guys will make the NIT, but not, you might be a fringe bubble team at the end of the season for the big tournament. Do I take that? Yeah, probably, knowing that, you had a guy that you thought was going to come in and help save this program. He's there for a season and he just takes off for the first big name program that comes calling. And now you get Coach Hughes in here, and he's done a pretty good job putting this program kind of back together. That'll continue. And again, I'll do a better job going forward as we head into the off season and next season into basketball season, tracking and following these guys. As much as I like college basketball, everything else that's been going on, I have not been nearly as focused on Mountaineer basketball. So, with that being said, I don't want to spend up too much time on that. I do know the women have had a pretty decent season as well. They had a big win over a top five Duke team early in the year in a neutral site game. I talked about that at one point when I tried to start this podcast months ago. But again, I'm psyched for baseball season coming up, and I will certainly be following those games heavily, trying to catch as many of those as I can, and talk about baseball as much as I possibly can, as well as keeping up with what's going on in the world of recruiting and seeing what goes on as we get a little bit closer to the spring games, trying to find out, kind of what's going on in the mindset of Coach RichRod, trying to get this team ready to go into 2026 football season. So I want to thank you guys for sticking around and joining me for this first episode, or maybe I guess technically the second episode on over on YouTube. It's kind of the relaunch episode of Mountaineer Mania. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you are on YouTube, please drop a like, subscribe. If you're on Twitch, follow my channel, Big Murph 23. That way you guys know when I go live. And I hope to see you next time here on Mountaineer Mania. Thanks, everybody.